to what is now known as BRICS. The union made up of Brazil, India, China, and then, of course, South Africa continues to grow, but not without challenges. The book, Laying the Bricks of a New Global Order, asserts that even though there may be common interests, there are also challenges that present potential challenges if not attended to. Joining us is Francis Kornegay. He is one of the book's two editors. Francis, so nice to have you in studio again. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good to be here.
Good. All right, so the book basically asserts that the momentum and speed of BRICS has basically just gone above expectations. It's exceeded expectations. That's the word I was looking for, with many observers. Give us your views on this. Why?
Well, generally, when you get the combination of countries that you've got your leading emerging economic powers. Two of them are permanent members of the Security Council. China and Russia, and then you've got India, Brazil, and South Africa, leading countries within their respective regions. When you get that kind of mix with the focus that you have had over the past several years on global economic governance, this is the kind of combination that is going to resonate very strongly in the business community, investors, and constituencies that are concerned about the global economy. So this is big news, particularly given the fact that this grouping has an agenda of a global economic reform. To redress some of the imbalance, a lot of the imbalance that you've had that has favored the G7.
Okay. A lack of trust in these relations is perhaps one of the factors cited as a downside in the relationship. Tell us a bit of this. Well, what do we mean by a lack of trust?
Well, what you have in international relations is a situation where countries basically interact with one another in terms of their national interests. So, where there may be trust deficits, but you have a situation where you have converging as well as diverging interest, and so what you have in BRICS, because BRICS is not an alliance, it is a coalition of countries that have a common interest in global economic reform. Yeah. Now, although they have issues among themselves, and there are some trust issues, nevertheless, they have enough in common in terms of what they want to achieve in common that this brings them together, and so they're able to overcome. For example, China and India have major issues, but at the same time, they are very much involved with each other. China is heavily involved in India economically, so you have major trading relationships, and those trading relationships within the context of global economic integration. You see, this has a way of overcoming issues of trust because the countries are dealing with each other, so they have to deal with each other.
Let's talk about which I know the book goes into quite detail about, was the way BRICS was actually received by the Western powers. Is it viewed as a power block against the West, in a way?
Well, some view it that way, but I don't think that perception of BRICS has dominated to a point where you have a very polarized situation between the BRICS countries and, let's say, the G7 developed economies. So it's not. It's for one thing, you have very active relations between the BRICS countries and many of the countries that are in the G7. So you don't have that. You don't have that kind of a polarized anti-Western situation.
Yeah. A question I have to ask you, I mean, when you look at BRICS and you look at the differing economies that are in there, there is most definitely, whichever way you look at it, there's definitely power balances, imbalances there. I mean, you've got China, and then you've got South Africa. And we had our Deputy President, Clement Motlanthe, saying he was happy to have a lot of China's presence here in South Africa. And when you look around, you see everything Chinese these days. But that imbalance, is it good for South Africa? I mean, are we bullied in a way or not really? Is it just a false perception that I have? Do we have the same presence in China? Are we benefiting as much?
Well, it's a very good question. I mean, you have, because you do have a lot of diversity. I think, South Africa, South Africa's presence in China is not on the same level as China's presence on the African continent. But I think the important dimension is the fact that South Africa is the largest economy on the African continent, and South Africa's economic status, given the fact that the other BRICS countries are very much involved in their own agendas on the continent, means that South Africa that really does not have a choice in not engaging in the BRICS, and therefore it is better for South Africa to be in BRICS than not being in BRICS, because this allows South Africa the opportunity to help guide the kind of interaction that is going on. Now, it would be better, though, if the South African presence in BRICS, and during the time when we are chairing BRICS, it would be better if we could come out of this with a more structured BRICS Africa dialogue, so that the African continent, the African Union, as well as South Africa, are in a better position to deal with all of these big players together, rather than a situation where you have one BRICS country dealing with 53 African countries. You see, and that's where you have Africa at a disadvantage. The importance of South Africa being in BRICS is that it provides us a strategic opportunity to overcome that. But that means, though, that we have to come up with something more structured as we, through this period until the next BRICS summit. So, we have to structure that.
All right. Well, interesting reading. If this is what you want, laying the bricks of a new global order. I love this. From Yekaterinburg to eThekwini.
Quite a mouthful.
It is quite a mouthful, but it's such a pleasure having you in studio. Francis Kornegay, one of the editors of the book, together with Nania Bolomula, and you can get this in bookstores around the country.